Hey guys, welcome back to part 2. So in this video, we're going to go through the greenhouse, the garden. We're going to introduce you to some of our chickens. Also, in our later videos, we're going to go over the tractor and a few firearms that we keep on us here at the farm. So if y'all will, stick around with us. It's going to be a show. Alright guys, we are back in the big garden, and this year my wife has really put a lot of time and effort into this little place, and she's going to show you everything that she's grown in here. We've started it actually in our little greenhouse, and if you guys want to see a video on the little greenhouse, leave me a comment down below and we'll try it out later. So with no further ado, here's my wife, Miss Rhonda Jean.
So we start with knee-high by July. This is not even just knee-high, but the greenhouse / cold frame. And these guys are not even as big as the ones down there, and we've hand pollinated them. Once the male tassels come in, we pollinate them down when the female appears, and we love our little ladybugs that are getting all the aphids. So what we did also is we interwoven the pumpkins down underneath to go in between the corn, in between the sunflowers, and to create more of a companion planting. Now this is squash here, but these sunflowers are fabulous. We do have companion plantings, so a lot of the things we have here work well with synergy together, which means basil, marigolds, of course. Marigolds are spread out underneath all of the squash, especially the squash. And every 2 days, if you have as many squash as we have and planted under everything, and we haven't even seen the garlic, you need to get underneath, because we're not, biggest thing about gardening is we're not growing leaves, we're growing fruit or vegetables. So you have to go underneath, and when you get underneath, you're going to see that the squash borer vines have made their presence, and most of the time you'll see them laying their eggs. So you need to take these, cut them off. We feed them to the turkeys and chickens, because why not? But every few days, if you want a good squash harvest, you need to also get the airflow. So I cut a lot of these plants down here because you need airflow. Airflow pollinates, and we have some good things coming in. We have some good giant pumpkins coming in as well.
Where is everything planted at in here, baby? Just to give everybody an idea.
Okay. Well, so we have our perennial asparagus. We have oregano, which I can't keep up with harvesting as much oregano.
And to clarify on the asparagus, it was taller than you when you decided to cut it down.
The turkeys and chickens love it because we're having little sprouts come in. So we're not growing leaves, we're growing fruit or vegetables. So we cut them off. Oh, look at that big stalk.
Yeah, look at that crazy thing, guys.
And we had some for dinner last night.
Yeah, and it was absolutely delicious.
So you cut the leaves off because it gets more fruit. Our strawberry patch, we established that 2 years ago. And this is a 10-year process. So this garden started out very small, and we've expanded and expanded to where now we can harvest enough in this garden for our family needs. We've already eaten off the strawberries as well. I'm most proud of the onions, honestly. These onions right here.
Yes.
These are the first things you can plant, because you can plant them. We planted them like March, and some of them are ready. Onion sets are ready to pick, and onions, look at companion planting. So onions go good around certain things. We've already picked some tomatoes.
I'll give them a good shot on the onions and tomatoes right here.
And rosemary and a lot of herbs and chives that you're kneeling on is one of our chive things. We've dried a lot of chives, And those are perennial, so they keep coming in year after year, and you don't have to replant them.
So just so y'all got a reference, that's my fist. I mean, that sucker's huge. They aren't ready yet. Oh, look right here, baby.
I know.
What is this?
We have so many of them coming in.
Is that a giant pumpkin?
I am pretty sure there's pumpkins. I have lost track at all the different.
And as
oh,
you
but
go,
I see a squash beetle over on that thing.
Where?
You want to? Right there where I'm pointing. See that underneath?
Yes, I do. So here's a squash beetle, guys. See, I'll try and get a close up of him before I get him. Kind of looks like a stink bug. But we don't like those in the garden. And we don't use anything, so tell them about that.
Oh, well, no, everything's organic. I mean, a pure neem oil is what we spray, because if you spray with pure neem oil, I mean, your yield, just everything tastes better, but it doesn't destroy
Our garden kitten, Charlie. Charlie. Our little rescue kitten.
Underneath, we have our mushrooms. I'm not done with all the mushrooms, but we have mushrooms because mushrooms need shaded but wet.
All this will be moved underneath the solar panels. We just haven't gotten around to it yet. These are actually from last year as well, correct?
Yeah, and look,
I know I touched it a second ago.
yeah, that's all right. I mean, these are from last year, but we have a lot more to do. But they need.
So these are from this year, right?
Yes, shaded but wet. So when we're watering the garden, that's full of pollen.
So this all has mycellulite in it, right?
What?
What is it called that's inside of it? Is it mycellulite?
Plugs.
Yeah.
Mycelium.
Mycelium
Yeah.
plugs.
So
For all you fancy garden heads out there.
yeah, and so it is a tedious process, but we have shiitake mushrooms and reishi mushrooms that we eat because we dry them. So here's our garlic. If you don't grow anything in your life, grow garlic, because garlic is the easiest thing. This year we incorporated with the garlic that I've had from previous years. This is their spawn, the little ones, but we incorporated the monster garlic. So you literally just stick them in 2 inches down, cover it with soil, and voila, and the scapes. Once you get scapes, they're not ready to harvest. Twice a year, you can plant garlic.
So show them the difference in the sizes of the normal garlic and the monster garlic. You don't have to pull them out. Look, you can actually see it from the top.
Yeah, so this is a monster, and by your knee is a regular.
So just to give you all a reference, here's my hand again.
And that's from garlic from years ago. I just keep making and
And here is the monster garlic. You see how thicker the stalk is, how much bigger it is. The cloves are actually about, yeah, that's
size.
Exactly right.
the regular ones that we harvested year after year that we keep harvesting, you get a clove and then you take 2 of them from there. The rule of thumb is when you're harvesting anything, you take 2/3, that's in the wild. Now all this, all the corn and sunflowers, we're gonna harvest in here. His other garden plots, we're gonna let some of them.
Some go, and then we'll collect some off the other.
So here's also our potato patch. You can't really see the potatoes underneath, but what's important is companion planting when you're doing it sustainability wise this is horseradish. So horseradish at the edge of your, and it's been eaten up. Yeah, that's what we want. We want to divert a crop to eat up, and there's some ladybugs in there. We want to divert a crop to get away from the potatoes we're growing. So yes, we have a whole row, trench of potatoes, but we have horseradish throughout them. That will help steer away the potato grubs. And
so just stand right here next to the sunflower so we can show them how tall it is. So my wife is roughly 5'5",
Roughly, I am 5'5". Don't even.
So, and you guys can clearly see that is well over 6 feet right there.
This is not even the tallest one.
No, that's not even the tallest. The tallest is 10, 11 feet tall right now. We'll get to that one in just a minute too. So, and what kind of little trees do you have planted down through here?
These are emerald arboretums. You can see the sign, emerald green arboretums, because they give a good shade and privacy fence. They're the fastest growing, but they also are not going to block out anything we plant because we can clearly trim. And that's mullein, by the way. Mullein is a medicinal. That's why we kept.
So this big giant right here is mullein.
Mullein, medicinal herb, the flowers, the everything. Yeah, it's good for asthmatic things. But yeah, we wanted to have a screen right here. And then something I didn't plant, I planted last year was calendula. Calendula is a wildflower that is #1 selling wildflower, made in every single skincare, you name it. Calendula is smooth. You can make some skin balms and everything, but they reseed themselves year after year. We have our blueberry, our peony, our lavender, and our chamomile is down there, but.
So show them some of your sunflowers. So we planted these guys right here early.
Oh yeah.
And they're actually somewhat ready to start drying. They already have started the process on their own. So hold on, I'll show them how easy it is just to get it ready, baby.
They're already pollinated.
Yeah.
We're gonna dry them on our new drying area. Look at that.
So as you guys can see, all those little black dots are actually full-grown sunflower seeds, which we will use to reseed and to feed our chickens with. And like I told you guys earlier about the super feed, if y'all want to see a video on how Rhonda does her super feeds, it's an awesome little process. It's quick and it saves us about, what did we come to the conclusion on, baby? It was around 5,000 a year, rather than going and buying.
And that's before we grow anything. Like that's just.
And that's before we go off and buy all of Purina's chick feed and their chick grower and their chick starter. And I'm not hating on Purina. We use a lot of Purina product, but it's only for our chick phases. But enough of me.
We're phasing that out though, because now I'm starting to mix our ground feed with the chick feed. Look at the little pumpkin outside.
Yes, the little pumpkin out here is actually going to be a giant pumpkin. And like Rhonda said, we're growing melons. We're not growing leaves. So some of these leaves are going to get trimmed. I've already done a little bit of trimming around that one to focus the water and the nutrients toward it. But let's see if we can catch up with Rhonda.
And the other reason we trim leaves is because a lot of leaves, and don't just trim them and leave them in your garden laying around. And what we do is we feed them to the chickens and turkeys because they love them. But if you leave a lot of it, it invites pests, especially if you're trimming ones that already have pests on them, like the seed pods we found from our weevils. You have to get rid of them, and chickens and turkeys love them.
And that about sums it up, guys. So that's Rhonda's full tour on her little garden. Like I said, we started a lot of this from sproutlings. When, baby?
I would say March, maybe a lot of them March, but April. But it was you can tell
March and April. So right now it's July 17th of 2023, and they say knee high by July, like she said. And as y'all could clearly tell, it's overhead high here. But that is what it looks like from the entrance. And if you guys want to know the story about how me and Rhonda met, this solar panel right here, this whole kit, I was a team lead for a company. And if y'all want to know more about how we met, leave me a comment and I'll let y'all know. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us at From the Wind Farms, and we'll talk to y'all later.